Hi, I'm not a writer, but I do know functional design. Let me show you something. You can succeed at anything as long as you have a goal, a method to reach that goal, and the tools you need to get the job done. So in theory, as long as we know exactly what we want, we should be able to achieve it. Where there's a will, there's a way. My name is Sebastian. I'm an animator, illustrator, and content creator here at the Noble Frugal Studio. Today, let's write a captivating story with plot structure to wow your audience watching your animated series.
Coming to the world with the pros of the brand new 22 readily approaching. Cover with an AG coating, mold to the surface and minimize glowing. Next gen, running to the forefront. Gen 2 Bluetooth shortcuts, pen to the page and a race to the top. So I hit him with a little bit of relevant aesthetic and a go pop. And we all jump up. Gotta make way for the pro chip, better get a hold tight grip. A little bit of silicone embellishment and better for the betterment and burn through the cable sorting. You can make your space look so good. Let's get this party started. It's like to move and sturdy, built with solids. Feeling like a million and then I better fit again with calibrated colors for imaginary world. Setting up the modes, I can really show. Put together color and right up in the bold. 2.5 QHD resolution more than the others on the board. Now I'm ready to explore and I just might hold tight for the 24. When I get back to my routine, I'm a pro. Draw like you never seen light before. Set right, set time, go blindfold. This set that canvas with your palms. It's a music feature for the new 22 XPPen. Boom! Click that link in the description. Big time, big time. You're a natural, then you know it. Draw with the force of a 22 Pro. It's strong and supported. Readily affordable arts include to the moment I choose the performance. Every single stroke is a move and a step up. Make tracks with a new 22 Pro. Big time, big time.
Remember, it all starts with the right goal. Think of a goal as setting a destination on a map. If you don't set your destination, you'll never arrive there. This is the most important rule of functional design. For example, my goal, I was thinking it'd be nice to see an animated series that teaches people how to animate. The episodes of this animated series would simply be animation tutorials. But since we're talking about story and plot structure today, I guess I could add some more dramatic elements to it. Let's give it a try. So I'll make a slight change to my goal. It'll be to create an animated series that teaches people of all ages how to animate and inspires them to be creative. So the lesson plans of this animated series will do the teaching part and the story will handle the inspiring portion. Now that we know exactly what we want, all we have to do is decide how we're going to get there. That takes us to our method. A method can be described as the path you take to your destination. If we were to illustrate it with a map, it would be the particular trail you walk on or whether you walk at all. Our method is how we get from point A to point B. Since I'm an animator, the concept of working from point A to point B or from drawing to drawing is very familiar to me. So I'm going to use the same sort of structure for story writing. We're going to set the extremes for our story and then explore the points in between. The extremes of our story are going to be the beginning and the end. In the beginning, our main character, Riddle, is inspired to animate. And at the very end of the story, Riddle realizes that you can never run out of creativity. Now, these 2 points may seem like a pretty large jump, and that's a good thing, because our midpoints can spice up the plot with unexpected turns. What does the middle of being inspired to animate and never running out of creativity look like? Well, from my experience as an artist, it can be quite overwhelming. So now we know right at the center of the story, our character is going to be in a scenario where they're somewhat overwhelmed. Great. Now, just like animation, where we add anticipation and overshoot, I'm going to try that for our story structure. Let's see how it works. If you don't know anticipation and overshoot in animation, they describe the wind-up and recovery of a variety of actions. It's best described by a leap or a jump. First, the character crouches down and coils up like a spring in order to get the energy to leap into the air. And then after they land, they compress once again in order to recover to their rest position. In my free animation course, we refer to this as the spring effect. It's also called squash and stretch, or the forces of tension and compression. We'll figure that stuff out later. Let's just make a note that we want to alternate between tension and compression. Between the start and our breakdown is going to be some anticipation, and between the breakdown and the end is going to be an overshoot of some sort. So what's something that a new animator eagerly anticipates? Well, for me, it was gaining the skill and ability to animate from imagination, to create characters and worlds on command without looking up reference. So maybe we can make this part of the story the point where Riddle realizes just how vast and exciting the art of animation really is. Now, on the end of the overshoot, after our character is feeling overwhelmed in the breakdown, you might start thinking that you underestimated how difficult animation is. That can be kind of discouraging. Maybe at this point in the story, our character is feeling a little bit disillusioned. Maybe he's not cut out to be an artist. And after that comes the end of the story. Riddle realizes that creativity is limitless. He can accomplish anything he puts his mind to. Where there's a will, there's a way. There we go. That's our point-to-point plot structure. I think it's very important to have at least a basic outline of the structure of your story. That way you can ensure that your story wraps up in a cohesive way. No disappointment. All we have to do now is place episodes along our story structure. Each episode will serve a function. At the moment, I don't know how many episodes I plan to make. Actually, each episode will serve as an animation lesson, so the episode structure is directly tied to the educational portion of this series. But as long as I have a basic plot structure and a function for each chapter on the timeline, I can take on each episode one at a time, or straight ahead, as we call it in animation. This is where our tools come in. Tools are the supplies, materials, and even the knowledge you need to have a successful journey. So what are some of the tools we need to write a good story? Let's look back at our episodes. Did you notice how each episode or each chapter of the story had a specific function? So now we need to make the devices that are going to fulfill that function. Let's start with episode 1. In the first episode, our main character is inspired to animate. How is he inspired? We need a plot device to fulfill the function of this episode. The plot devices in story writing are called characters. Characters are the tools that create plot. So how will our main character get inspired to animate? Well, maybe this is Riddle's first time carefully observing the world around him. Or maybe it's the first day of summer vacation, and he finally has the time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the outdoors. The outdoors is a character, meaning it has a function, proportion, and language. How we visually describe the outdoors will directly affect the impact of our plot device, whether it supports the plot or not. I want these outdoors to be incredibly intricate and teeming with life. The morning sun is peeking through the leaves of the trees, while the entire backyard is rested in shadow. Riddle lives in an overgrown urban wild. That's the start of my very first episode, and now we can repeat the structure we created for our entire story. We have the beginning of the episode, where Riddle opens the door to his backyard and sees the beautiful outdoors, to the end of the episode, where he's inspired to animate. So what does the middle of that look like? Maybe Riddle tries to capture the beautiful movement that he's seeing, but he can't quite do it. There's no need to communicate this story entirely in writing. In fact, I'm leaving a lot of this open-ended so I can interpret it visually. Again, I'm not a writer, but using these principles of functional design makes you a successful creator, no matter what medium you choose. Now that we have our goal and method ironed out, we need to spend some time writing and drawing the characters or plot devices that will accomplish and fulfill our story structure. These will be the most memorable part of your entire animated series, but no need to be intimidated. In fact, you can create an entire cast of characters by designing one character. How? See you next time. Happy animating.
Hey!